Our dear colleague Rehab Nazzal, Dr. Rehab Nazzal. Rehab is a Palestinian, Canadian, multidisciplinary artist and educator based in Montreal, Canada. Her work deals with the effects of settler colonial violence in peoples, on land, and on the other non-human life in colonized territories. Nazzal's works have been exhibited across Canada and internationally. She's currently a postdoctoral fellow at the Concordia University. Rehab will be sharing with us and her experience in project driving in Palestine.
Thank you. Wow, how to start? I am really overwhelmed by the presentation, which brings about the question of the personal archive and the collective archive. It also emphasizes a continuous nakba in this country that the land and the people are encountering. My project is on the present time, and it examines the, let me follow the presentation. So Driving in Palestine, it's a photography book and a multimedia installation, which is currently now on Montreal Art Intercultures. It started September 7th, continues to October 21st. If you are in Montreal or close to Quebec, it's not in the back. Okay. You can visit. The book, both the exhibition and the book are titled Driving in Palestine, and the book is outside with Nancy. You can acquire a copy. The publisher sent about 20 copies. It took over a week with UBS. They were sent first to one colleague from here, from al-Kalima, but the UBS, who are in the security services, obviously, they emailed me saying, you're not allowed to send shipments to Jerusalem, send to the Palestinian Authority, which I did not send at the first place. And anyways, at the end, they communicated with my colleague Sami, and they were sent here. And you can see them now with Nancy. So what is the project about, Driving in Palestine? It's actually the title. It's not literal. It's not as much a driving as the impossibility of driving a movement. So it's about the Zionist settler colonial infrastructures of controlling the Palestinians movement. And it's a visual account. It's based on my embodied experience. And as I said, focuses on restrictions of movement and access within, between fragmented and segregated Palestinian territories that being cut into 1948 territories, 1967, the West Bank, Gaza, East Jerusalem, Area A, B, and C within the West Bank, H1 and H2 within Hebron, Al-Khalil. Some of you were yesterday there. So this fragmentation of the land and the people, how are they manifested on the roads while we're driving? That's my focus. Now, using documentary photography, which is significant in situations of injustice, it's significant for the Palestinian people. And like we had an evidence this morning with our colleague here presenting what his father used to document. A defiance, another aspect, a defiance, the act of documenting the occupation, infrastructure, of movement restrictions, of apartheid, it has a defiance aspect of it. because I am using part of the technology they are using. I am using my camera, projecting it against their surveillance camera. I am surveilling them in a way, not so much. What are the manifestations of movement obstructions on the roads of the West Bank? Permanent military checkpoints. Dr. Rehab mentioned there are over 600 checkpoints within the West Bank, and we're talking about less than 6,000 square kilometers, which is fragmented as well. Temporary, or what Palestinians call flying checkpoints, and those can appear anytime. They are ambush checkpoints. The apartheid wall, 850 and even longer now, kilometer extending deep within the West Bank, stealing water resources and cutting off Palestinian communities from each other and from essential services. Jewish-only colonies and roads, you've seen that probably, land seizing fences and agricultural gates at the entrances of cities, refugee camps and villages, segregated roads and color-coded licensing system, military camps and firing zones, watchtowers and surveillance cameras, and apartheid road signs. So how I transferred this experience within 10 years, each time I visit Palestine, I drive throughout the West Bank, I try to get to 48 or Gaza, it's impossible. I manage, however, to go to what's called Canada Park, which is established on the ruins of 3 Palestinian villages destroyed in 1967, Hamas, Yara, and Beit Nuba. Managed to go there, but any Palestinian is not allowed. It's a war crime by the Canadian government to allow establishing such a recreational apartheid park. So I transformed this experience into exhibition and photography book. The photography book consists of 150 photographs, hand-drawn maps and essays by 7 Palestinian Arab-Canadian scholars and artists, Ahlam Sharat, Yasmin Abu-Laban, Stephen Shihir, and Inas Deeb, Mohammed Al-Kurdi, Naila Matouk, and Christina Bach. All images were captured in motion from moving vehicles, entirely. This one appeared on posters and through events because I've been working on this project for the past 2 years, and several events were held in Canada, in Ottawa, in Vancouver, and several in Montreal. This photograph appeared in many posters and many events announcements. Probably you've noticed it. I think John captured a photograph. He showed me similar to this. It's between here and Ramallah. It resembles the conditions, and many of the artists were working with cement, like turning the land into cement walls, demolishing homes, pouring cement in houses as well. And to the right, it's a map I drew of the routes I used to drive. Specifically, when I taught here for 3 years at al-Kalima from 2015 to 2019, I would travel back and forth between here and my family who reside in Djeghalian area. This is Palestine without any human, colonial, settler, Western-made borders. That's how Palestine, with its natural borders, it's part of Bilad al-Sham. My father used to travel and come back to Iraq, to Syria, to Lebanon freely. All this ended with this Zionist Western project. One of the photographs, I'll show you a few photographs from the book and the exhibition. This is Jalami military checkpoint, which divides Jenin from Nazareth, basically, just 20 minutes there, you cannot cross. I had several encounters there. A flying checkpoint that appears suddenly. Inside the car, there is a dynamic traveling and sharing rides with others. there is a life inside the car where people share stories and laugh and sit silent when we cross the checkpoints, etc. These are like the prayer for travelers. It was ironic to have it in the car in front of the driver. This is a permanent checkpoint between Nablus and Kegham, still exists. On the Dead Sea, I was surprised within the West Bank. I spent 2 months in the area in 2020 during the pandemic. And I was shocked to find even at the shore of the checkpoint, there are the shore of the Dead Sea, there are checkpoints. Here in Bethlehem, I had this experience of witnessing the occupation forces demolishing the house and the restaurant of Qumsiya family in 2019, and immediately a few settlers, armed settlers, moved to the left there, and they're still there. That's how these illegal settler colonies begin. The protection of the army, the prevention of Palestinians from existing on that land. This is an old photograph from 2013. It's the entrance of a village in Ramallah that was entirely isolated. Here, al-Walaji, you might have seen it, someone spoke about al-Walaji and the plight of al-Walaji since the Nakba. Their cameras on the road to Al-Khalil, this treehouse resemblance. So we'll talk about these panoptics later on. This is on the road to Jenin. Now, this is not the apartheid wall, but it's a wall that surrounds a colony. The colonies that are not on the top hills, they're surrounded by walls. You don't see what's behind them. One of the most beautiful villages I visited is Bourine, Nablus district, and Bourine is being targeted by armed settlers regularly. It's beside Hawara, exactly where Hawara was burned a few months ago. These are olive trees being burned. The exhibition Driving in Palestine. In this exhibition, I use a variety of visual and sonic strategies in the post-production process and in the presentation as well. Like I would say, it varies between experimental and documentary, the post-production process. And the works that are in the exhibition are this list: Panoptics in Palestine, photographs mounted on Dibon, 2,000 posters. There are 3 posters outside I brought with me. And these posters for visitors of the gallery to take home. Looking back, looking ahead, double screen, video, driving at home, 1 hour and 36 minutes. It's a multi-screens video. Healing moments, that is at the end of the exhibition. After all this experience, people go to this healing moments. And there's driving from Ramallah to Salfit, from Jerusalem to Ramallah, and the apartheid signs. What's going on? How does it play? Okay. So this is the entries of May, or Mai, the territorial statement, some university students, another look at the overview. Here is the panoptics in Palestine. I managed to photograph 95 watchtowers during my drive within the 10 years. And there are more, much more. It's a continuous project for me, to document every single watchtower in this country. That's how they are exhibited. We managed to exhibit 60 only. They're largely, they occupy the whole wall in the gallery. They come in different shapes, different heights, different number of surveillance cameras. Some are manned, some are not. The purpose of these that were actually designed by a British engineer, late 1800, Jeremy Bentham, called the panopticon. When it was created to monitor the prisoners, to cut the cost, the human cost, in monitoring and controlling prisoners. Instead of having one guard for a few prisoners, they will have this panopticon in the middle of the prison, where one guard can watch everyone, and he sees everyone, but they don't see. Even if there is no one, the psychological effect of making everyone feel is being monitored. That's what Israel is doing, because we all know that the surveillance technology, from the face recognition to the social media to tapping phones, all this Israel uses, but this for the psychological effect to make Palestinians feel that they're watched every time, every minute in their movement, going to work, to school, etc. These some photographs mounted on metal diaphragm. Some videos as well, and I think I'll show, these are the posters. I'll show you a few minutes of the videos. This is driving at home, the 1 hour, 36 minutes. I'm not sure, oh yes. It's animated map. Every video starts where I started, from Ain Jidi in the south to the military checkpoint where you cannot cross to Bisan, or from the other side, Jenin, you cannot cross to Djeghalian, or to the left, you cannot, from Kalkili across to Fourteenth. I mean, these videos, this work also shows. Okay, yeah, I know. Probably all of you have seen this, but it's all walls. Now, these 20 apartheid signs that we actually exhibited this way, creating within the gallery space a structure to show them. Why did it work? This is a multi-screen, backward, ahead. From Nablus to Ramallah, from Ramallah to Beit Lahem to the left. During these drives, you encountered the brutality and ugliness of the settler colonial occupation apartheid system created by the West, by the way, Zionist West. The ugliness, but also the beauty of the land. And that's where we end, with the beauty, the magnificent nature. How can I play here? There's a video. Go back. Because it has a sound as well.
Okay.
No, not
This one?
It was working.
I didn't do anything.
Which slide? Last one.
The last one. Yeah.
It was working.
It has sound.
I can't see the video.